Now, welcome on stage team Almaev from Escort company.
One, two. Yes.
Once again.
One more. All right. Okay. My name is Tim. I come from Kazan, Russia. With Escort monitoring systems, the hardware manufacturer of capacitive fuel level sensors, angle sensors, various RFID systems, and BLE devices and IoT devices as well. Russia is known for the drivers to find the most intricate ways to steal fuel, right? So we had to come up with a solution, and this is what we produce. This is the range of our products, which some of you maybe have seen, some of you even worked with. It's not only telematics devices and BLE devices, but also a range of IoT devices that we are moving into. We think in 50 or 100 years there's no more fuel, so perhaps we're going to become truly an IoT company. This is not a story about us, but this is a story about integrator. Somebody who puts these cogs and wheels together so the whole system would work. This particular case that I would like to tell you about is a fuel theft prevention in mining industry in Kazakhstan. The end customer is specializing in extraction of precious and non-ferrous metals. This is what they extract out of rich soil of Kazakhstan, and be sure they protect this gold very well. Nobody steals this gold, but they forgot about another type of gold, which is fuel. This is a heavy machinery that they use, crawlers, underground explosion charging machines, big excavators, everything. It is very heavy, very big, with a huge fuel tank. So, a lot of fuel. The solution, the challenge, first challenge is that the whole system is underground, so there's obviously no GSM connection. So they wanted to come up with, the integrator had to come up with a solution how to get all this data out without GSM connection. So solution is there. Escort TD150 fuel level sensor, Azimuth Wi-Fi trackers, Galileo Sky, our good friends, and a DFM flow meters. So this is an example of installation. As you may see, the fuel level sensors, once installed, they become all dirty and basically install and forget kind of thing. You don't want to worry about this. Basically, what was happening? The main amount of fuel was stolen before it got into the fuel tanks. Documented, when the system was implemented in October 2017, don't mind the date, I mean, it was a couple of years ago, but it's very hard to get actual digits from the integrators. In October 2017, right when they installed the whole system, they found out that the discrepancy between documented fuel consumption and real fuel consumption was 10% more. So when on the days when the vehicle was standing and was not operating, actually on the paper it was filled, full. On the May, half year later, the discrepancy fall down to 195%, which is normal, which is fine, because obviously there's some discrepancies would be happening due to the human factor. After the tank was filled, the fuel was siphoned out of the tank. Actually, the way they did it, they would fill up the huge mining equipment, machinery with the fuel, drive out to another one, siphon the whole thing, come back again, and do the whole process again. So, in October 2017, when they just installed the fuel, they found out that 28,000 liters was siphoned from the tanks. By the May 2018, half year later, it was zero, because all these people were fired or sanctioned or whatever they do with them in the mining industry. So, average fuel consumption, liter per engine hour, fell down by 1/3. So if in October 2017 the company had been using 68 liters per engine hour, half a year later it's 46 liters. So they can make more gold. They can take out more gold. Another case I want to talk to you about is the tower crane safe operation with Sokol M weather station in Moscow. The goal is to ensure the safe operation of the crane, the safety of the personnel, to avoid costly litigations. Those are the main reasons why the system had to be installed. The client is Peak Industry, is the biggest Russian development in a high-end construction sector. What was happening? A real case scenario. When they don't own the cranes, tower cranes, they usually rent them out of the subcontractors. So after a certain point, the subcontractor came to the Peak Industry company and came up with a huge bill for the spare parts, saying that on this day there was some excessive wind conditions, there was ice, so you owe me for the parts. And they did not have any tools to prove otherwise, so they had to pay out this money. So they started thinking, what should we do? They came to us, actually we came to them. It was a long way. But the first Sokol M was installed on a 77-meter tower crane to provide the weather data not from the area which you can buy or you can get free, but for this particular point where the crane is located. Also, this station in Russia, it has been certified as an official measuring instrument, so everything it gives is official. Now they have, I'm not sure what the digits are, but I think it's over 100 weather stations are installed over on their cranes in Moscow, in Moscow region, and in some other regions as well. So now they do not depend on the crane operators to stop the work, because now they have this effective tool to tell them that the wind speeds are not 10 meters per second. So you don't have to stop the crane, you can actually have to operate. And they avoided a lot of costly litigations. So the customers, they wanted to minimize tower crane idling, obviously not to depend on the crane operator's decision to stop the crane, and avoid losing $45,000 per day, per object. So where these digits came from? Basically, we did some calculations. We decided not to put this over here because it doesn't look good. So we $500. The cost of to build 1 square meter in Moscow is $500. On a property of 83,000 square meters, that's the digit that is being lost due to unauthorized crane idling. And obviously, under certain Russian laws, you have to stop operating heavy machinery or transport some materials with a high sailing coefficient during high winds, or you have to stop welding where there's a rain or ice outside. So basically here, you can see how the weather station has detected 3 peaks of high wind, excessive wind, when we would know that we have to stop the crane operation. And we're off. Thank you very much, guys, for your attention.
Thank you, team. Do you have any questions? We still have time. Anyone?
Specifically regarding the BLE sensors, which hardware providers have integrated them?
BLE sensors, in order for bad guys to break into the protocol has been encrypted. We call this Escort BLE protocol. The hardware manufacturers that did integrate this protocol already are Teltonika FMB series, FMB 120, 125, 920, except 600 series due to Bluetooth 3.0. We have QuickLink, GB56, GB56RS, GB300 CAN. We have Neomatica ADM series. We have Navtelecom Smart 24XX series. And I think Galileo Sky is working on it already, almost 5 more minutes. And then we have a few. We are also finishing up the integration with ARN Telematics out of Israel. And for the trackers that do not have Bluetooth or have serial RS485 input, we do have a little adapter that you plug together with the tracker under the dashboard, and it still communicates wirelessly to the sensor. You know, people installation time, much faster. You know, especially when using the calibration machine. In our integration division in Kazan, we have a standard time for installation of the wire fuel level sensor with the calibrating machine, 45 minutes. Now, we have, with this one, it's 20 minutes installation. Also, the BLE products that we also have is the temperature illumination sensor. There's this one right down there. Illumination is for to determine the openings of the doors, which if you have your guy transporting milk, you do not want him to open the doors 10 times a day. It actually is very sensitive, it works even in the nighttime. Also, it's not here, and we have a testing, it's in the testing phase. We have distributed to a few loyal integrators. It's a Bluetooth angle sensor. So it's also works over BLE and uses the same protocol, so it's integrated with the same tracker. And I mean, I hope everybody's gonna go away from the wires. So I mean, people cut them. The craziest case with the wire, the guy injected acid in the head of the sensor through the wire. So the acid ate the sensor. I mean, we only found out when we diagnosed it. I'm telling you, the most intricate ways to steal to break it. It's crazy.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Afterwards, after the last
Okay. Anyone wants to ask a question? Otherwise, Nishad is coming.
Thank you. I followed most of it. The question is, do you have iBeacon sensors?
We don't. No, we don't. We can easily make one.
It's
BLE.
right?
Yeah, they have already. I mean, Teltonik makes them. It's compatible. It's mostly what we are trying to get into. If you noticed, we trying to make this hardware that is not there yet. For example, I have no problem recommending Technotone for the flow meters. You know, if somebody needs it, I have no problem recommending anybody. So it's fine. Everybody makes very good hardware over here. But when it comes to this, continue. No, it's later on.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, well, how about we give Tim another round of applause?